Story 18. I remember an analogy of playing fetch with your dog near a cliff. You wouldn't throw the ball nearer and nearer edge for fear of your dog falling off. So don't kiss, then make out, then go under the clothes, and get closer and closer to sex because it might lead to sex. Story 19. Huh, so this is the schooling that made those carbon copy rapists talking about. I can't stop. Bro, stop lying. I can stop anytime fiancé even makes an ouch noise. More seriously, why would adults teach minors that? That's the exact opposite of what you should be teaching. If you want people not to fuck, tell them they can say no whenever. You're uncomfortable? Scared? Not ready yet? Say no. Your partner says he has blue balls, and it's your fault. Or if you loved her you'd have sex? Still okay to say no. Also, that person is a lying liar who lies. Much harder to have sex if you won't have sex with disrespectful yahoos. Let me tell you. Story 20. We had a video series all about sexual desires, but from a religious standpoint. I remember there was a part about necking, and all I could think of was giraffes. I was in junior high, but seriously, who says necking? Story 21. I wasn't in abstinence-only sex ed, but had a friend who was. I was in like grade 9 to 10, and made out with someone, and she lectured me about how I was on the path to full-blown fucking people. She compared it to getting a new or a used car and test driving and such. I was like, girl, I made out with a boy and told him to take me home, chill. Story 22. We were told that making out was sinful because having someone's tongue in your mouth was simulating sexual intercourse. Tongue in mouth equals penis and vagina in your mind. So sin even without the sex part. Story 23. One of my friends in high school had a strong religious upbringing. He would always say, I can't have premarital sex because that leads to dancing, which is a sin. Story 24. When I was in 8th grade, we had a pretty honest sex education class. They even talked about the clit and what to do with it a little 1980. Today, people's heads would explode. But regarding this comment, and one of the things I sorta agree with, I remember our teacher saying, and yes, I know this is sexist, etc. Just a hug can get Johnny's heart racing and lead to other conduct. So you girls should be aware of that. As a red-blooded boy, that's kind of true. I think it's wonderful, that feeling, but there's a scintilla of truth in it. When I got a hug in junior high or slow danced, my mind would be reeling and my pants too tight. Making out would turn me into a leg-humping animal. So I understand this one. Story 25. The instructor gave all the boys in the class chewing gum and let them chew on it for a few minutes. Then she asked them if any of them wanted to share. Of course none did. Then she asked if they didn't want to share gum. Why would they want to share sex partners? This was in a co-ed class, so all the girls in the class got to see too. Story 26. The teacher said that you can only really love one sexual partner, and that's why it's so important that your spouse be your first and only partner. One of my classmates raised her hand and said, my mom died when I was a baby, and my dad's been married to my stepmom for 10 years. Does that mean he only loves one of them? The teacher just looked uncomfortable and moved on to how premarital sex causes depression. Story 27. My dad killed himself when I was in 4th grade. I went to Catholic school. The nun still thought it would be appropriate to dedicate an entire class period to talk about how taking your own life was a sin, and describe all the horrible things that happened in hell against those who commit this mortal sin. I was freaking 9. After class, I was singled out from my classmates and told to step outside. The nun then proceeded to tell me that I looked distressed, and that if I needed to talk she was there. She fucking knew. She was at the fucking funeral. I can't understand how you could be so unbelievably cruel to a small child who is grieving. Asterisk edit. It's 3 days later, and I just logged into Reddit to find all of these replies and awards. I am in shock. I knew this wasn't the best thing that could happen to a child, but I never pondered that others could have such a strong reaction to it. I guess I normalized it as just a thing that happens. I'd never told anyone in my family about it, and seeing how strongly this story resonated with people makes me think it might be a good idea to share it with my husband at least. I think sharing some of my grief might help, even all these years later. Story 28. I'm so sorry this happened to you, it breaks my heart. 3 years ago, we lost my 17-year-old niece to suicide. My family is extremely Catholic, so I panicked right before the funeral as I had my 7-year-old with me and was worried there may be some similar themes. There thankfully were not. The priest teared up talking about how special she was, and all of her accomplishments, and how much she was loved, and all of the things she did to help others. Then he said, but sometimes someone is hurt on the inside so bad that all the love and support and good things are not enough to heal them, and sometimes they just need to go be with the Lord to feel better again. I have never cried so hard in my life. I'm a lifelong atheist. But he got the first part right. Her mother took her life 5 years before my niece, and he was 150% right. She was just too hurt inside, and all the love and support was just not enough to fix her hurt. Edit. I am have some tough times right now. I saw what the OP said, and was horrified that anyone would do that to a child. I shared what happened when I had an actual positive experience, and then made a few follow-up remarks. I went to sleep early because depression is awesome, and woke up to see this blew up. I honestly hope this will help someone someday, but I'm also shocked that so many people liked this comment and had so much to say. TLDR, thank for listening. Be nice to yourself and others. Everyone deserves to have love and be heard.
Use that.